Most people believe they're falling behind in their careers. They're not. They're just following a path that doesn't exist anymore. And that's why working harder isn't helping. That's why planning feels pointless. And that's why so many people feel anxious without understanding why. We are taught there was an order to things. Study, work, gain experience, move up, feel secure. But when that order stopped working, everyone turned the blame inward. What if the career path didn't fail, but quietly disappeared? And what if something new is replacing it, right now, whether you're ready or not? This video isn't about motivation, it's not about hustle, and it's definitely not about chasing trends. It's about recognizing the shift that already happened and understanding what it means for your future if you keep following outdated rules. The system that made sense until it didn't. For a long time, the career system was straightforward, not easy, but clear. You were offered a simple deal.
Time for security. Effort for progress. Loyalty for stability. You didn't have to predict the future. You just had to follow the path.
It worked because the world moved slower. Technology changed gradually. Skills stayed relevant for decades. Companies grew predictably. Competition was local. Experience built on itself. If you showed up, stayed patient, and didn't quit, you advanced. The ladder was real. Careers weren't flexible. They were linear. You started at the bottom. You climbed one rung at a time. You earned trust. You earned responsibility. You earned stability. And the best part? You didn't have to be exceptional. You just had to be consistent. This model didn't just organize work, it organized life. When to study, when to start working, when to settle down, when to feel on track. It offered certainty, and certainty eased anxiety. That's why so many people believed in it, and why losing it feels so painful. So if you feel lost today, it's not because you got the rules wrong. It's because the rules changed and nobody told you. The old career system didn't crash dramatically. There was no warning, no announcement, no moment when everyone agreed the rules had changed. It didn't shatter loudly, it eroded quietly. The first thing that failed was time. Technology stopped evolving slowly. It began compressing decades into years.
Skills that once lasted 20 years now expire in 5, sometimes 3.
Experience stopped building value. It began losing it. Careers were never built to handle global pressure. They were designed for cities, regions, predictable talent pools. But suddenly your competition wasn't the person in the next cubicle. It was everyone, everywhere, at once. And then came the most dangerous fracture. Entry disappeared. The first steps of the ladder began to vanish. Not because companies turned cruel, but because hiring became expensive and automation became cheap. The ladder didn't collapse, it narrowed. Fewer entry points, fewer safe middle rungs, no guarantee waiting at the top. So why didn't people see it happening? Because nothing failed overnight. Raises still came, titles still changed, offices still existed. But the math underneath was different. Progress slowed, risk shifted, security evaporated.
That's why so many people feel like they're running in place. They're not failing.
They're just applying effort to a system that no longer turns it into stability. When the system stopped working, most people drew the same conclusion. It must be me. I'm not skilled enough. I'm not disciplined enough. I'm falling behind. This is the greatest illusion of the modern career. And here's what makes this illusion so convincing. It sounds responsible. Blaming yourself feels mature. It feels honest. It feels within your control. If the issue is you, then the fix must be more effort. Effort only creates progress when the system still converts it. When that system breaks, effort turns into resistance. You push harder, but move less. You learn more, but feel less secure. You stay busy, but lose direction. This illusion survives because no one ever declares that the rules have changed. Institutions keep teaching the old playbook, companies keep speaking the old language, and advice keeps recycling old assumptions. So people internalize failure instead of questioning the system. When the traditional career path collapsed, it didn't leave empty space. It was replaced not by chaos, not by freedom, but by a new operating system, one that rewards different behaviors and punishes the old ones. Careers stopped being linear, they became modular. Instead of one continuous climb, people now move through roles, projects, and stages, not rising vertically, but shifting laterally.
Experience used to be the proof. Time spent meant trust earned.
But now proof has to be visible, demonstrated, verifiable, transferable. What you can show matters more than where you've been. Security isn't handed out anymore. It's built, not by corporations, not by institutions, but by leverage. This is why so many people feel unstable. They're still building their lives around ladders. In a world that now runs on leverage. The old career system gave you something powerful.
A map. It told you where to go, when to go, and what came next.
But the new system took that map away and replaced it with something much harder. Judgment, choice, responsibility. People don't panic because things are difficult. They panic when things are uncertain. There's no such thing as being on track anymore. No universal timeline, no shared definition of progress. This change opens up a dangerous gap, the gap between who you were trained to be and what the world now demands. You were trained to follow. Now the world asks you to decide. You were trained to specialize. Now the world rewards range. You were trained to wait your turn. Now the system moves without waiting. Most people assume the next great divide will be financial, rich versus poor, winners versus losers. But that's not the real separation. The attached aren't lazy, they're loyal, reliable, disciplined. They believe stability comes from staying put, from waiting, from following the plan. They keep perfecting themselves for a system that no longer returns the favor. They just accept one hard truth early down, the map is gone, so they build a compass. This gap keeps expanding because the system now rewards adaptability.
Not loyalty, not patience, not blind obedience.
The adaptive don't necessarily know more, they simply decide sooner. And early action compounds, and even when it's imperfect.